Hello. Okay, so this lesson is pretty exciting because we're going to take everything we've done and we're going to put our ad together inside Facebook. So make sure you're all comfortable, get ready, have your document open with your copy and know which image you're going to use, and let's do it. So what we're going to do is come over here. We're going to go to our arrow, and I shouldn't say over here, I should say to our Facebook page, but you already know that. And we're going to click on that arrow and we're going to come down to create an ad. And again, what I'm going to do is take a second to go into the right ad account. It'll automatically default to your own ad account. And if you're not dealing with other people's accounts like I am, you don't have to worry about the steps. So give me just 1 second to go into the right account. And there we go. Okay, so the first thing that Facebook's going to do is it's going to give me all of these options over here. And it's going to ask me what my marketing objective is. And there's a whole bunch of different options. The only thing I want you to care about at this point is the conversion options. Because basically the conversion option is all about getting people to your website to do a specific action. That's pretty much all you need to know right now, okay? It's good. I mean, you can come back and play around with these. If you click on the eye beside any of them, it'll show you what they're designed for. And of course, you could read up on them if you want. But again, our whole objective here, we are business people. We want people on our website to do something to make us money. So we basically are, at this point in time anyway, we want people to convert, and there's a whole conversion key right there. So you're just going to go ahead and click conversions, and then what's going to happen is this area at the bottom is going to show up, and the first thing you want to do is add a title in. Now you can make your title anything you want, but I recommend doing a campaign title that will trigger your memory on what you were testing, whether it be a month down the road or a few months down the road. So just try to make it specific for you. What I usually lead with on my campaigns is I name it the product name that I'm doing the campaign for. And then I'll add in either like a season, like if it's a holiday campaign, I'll put holiday campaign, or you could just put in the exact date if it was something specific. And, you know, that helps me out, but you might have your own system. So just do whatever's comfortable for you in naming your things. So for this example on how to create your conversion campaign, I'm going to actually use another product for another client I have who sells kids' bikes. And I just want to show you the different types of products that can be sold through using Facebook ads. So he names his bikes different names. So for example, it would be like kids bike name, whatever he names it. And then and then I would put down the season. So I would do like a summer campaign or fall campaign or whatever it is. So it doesn't matter. So you can name it whatever you want. So I'll just leave it as that for now. And of course, going after purchases, and it's good to continue. Okay, this is where you create your ad set. And what you're going to want to start off doing, again, is giving your ad set name a very specific name. So chances are you're going to test different types of ad sets underneath the same campaign. So you just want to make sure that you could differentiate them from one another, I should say. The thing that you want to keep in mind is that if you can name, again, the ad set name whatever you want, you can also change it anytime you want. So don't worry, you're not going to be stuck with it. Now, as I mentioned, this is for a client who does kids' bikes. So what I did is I actually entered in, when I was doing audience insights, I entered his competitors' names, and based on that, I was able to get some audience insights based on his best-selling competitors, and then I'm going to actually build my ad set using that data. So what I'm going to call it, because I did it that way, is I'm going to call the ad set name. I'm going to name it competition ad set. And then again, I could put the date or anything else that'll help trigger my memory. The client is just US based, so I'll just put US. And then I would maybe put down the age range that this ad set is going after, or something like this. I found that it was about 35 to 54 were the main buyers for this product. And also I found that women were the main buyers. So I'll create an ad set just for women 35 to 54, and that's what I'll name my ad set. All right. So then you want to scroll down. The next section you'll see, which is very important, is the conversion section. And here you have three options: website, app, or messenger. So it defaults to website. And since we're building a website campaign that is going to a landing page on a website, so we're looking for a website conversion, we're going to keep it at website. But of course, I just want you to make a note that you could also build a conversion campaign based on a mobile application that you might have, or build something in Messenger as well. Okay? And remember, as you're doing all of this, if you're ever not sure what something means, you just click on the I, which I guess stands for information, and it'll give you an explanation of what that means. Okay, so you're going to pick website. Now it automatically will default to purchase. Now in this section, what will happen is Facebook will show you, based on how you built the pixel, where you put in all those standard event codes. So it knows you want a conversion campaign. Now it's basically asking you, what do you want to measure? What type of conversion? Do you want to measure who's made a purchase, or do you want to measure how many people have viewed the content, or do you want to measure how many people added to cart, or added here, I'll show you. I just might have to block some of this out but I'll show you the options on here. Okay, the first option, in case you're wondering, I'll just quickly let you know it's more advanced, but you can actually create conversions for specific products. So instead of just doing a straight purchase, which is like anybody who purchases on your website, I created a specific purchase conversion for a specific product. So again, that's more advanced, but just I want you to be aware that is something that can be set up. And if you run into that situation, just send me an email or do a post on the page, and I will try to explain it in as concise detail as I can for you. Okay. So add to cart, initiate checkout. So I can create this ad set to measure any of those different types of conversions. So again, it depends where you're at and what you want to measure. Now, what I'm going to recommend is that if you are new to Facebook ads and you're pretty much just starting out, I want to jump to a purchase campaign measurement, like right away. Maybe just tell Facebook, start off with the easiest one. So that would be view content. So if you're just starting out, start off with a view content conversion, because what's going to happen is Facebook will then go out and find people that are more likely to, want to read the content on your landing page, which is great, because chances are you are then going to get, more people will want to do that. So you'll get better response to your ad, and Facebook will then show it to more people. So you'll get a larger number of people actually on your landing page, which could lead to more purchase conversions. But it also will help Facebook start letting the pixel track the type of people that are responding, because really they have to be interested enough to read what's on your landing page first before they're interested enough to make the purchase. So ideally you want to go after, if you've been doing this for a while and you've already got a pixel history and the standard event history, and Pixel is very familiar with, what process it needs to go through to get to that purchase and what a purchase means, then definitely your conversion is going to be purchase. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So again, you're just starting out, just go after review content. If you're seasoned and we're ready for it, let's go after the purchase. And where did it? There it is. All right, so that's easy peasy stuff, right? The next thing you're going to do is you're actually going to want to build your audience. So it's going to give you a couple options here. You could build an audience from scratch. You can use one of those custom audiences. So here you'll see it gives you that option. You could add one of those custom audiences that we have built, and you can also add a lookalike audience here. A lookalike audience is an audience that's going to be based on your custom audience, and it's going to look exactly like it. So for example, if you build a custom audience for people who have made a purchase from you, if that's what your custom audience is built from, your lookalike audience, Facebook will go and find people that are as similar as possible to those people who have purchased from you. So that's pretty powerful and very cool. Again, it's more of an advanced lesson, but I want you again to know that that option is there. Hopefully when I build the advanced Facebook course, this will look familiar, and it'll be quicker for you to catch on how to use it, and we can go ahead and make some bigger, bigger, what's the word I'm looking for? Bigger sales, bigger purchases, bigger numbers. We could just go after the bigger stuff, okay? Because this, what we're doing is fabulous, but Facebook is exceptionally powerful once you know how to use it and which parts of it to use, like the lookalike audience. All right, so let's see here. So we're going to create a new, so we're just going to leave it. We're not going to touch anything. And let's go to location. So the first thing that I want you to do under the location is it defaults to everyone in the location. But if you think about it, if you're selling a product, especially if it's a higher end product, you don't want everyone who just happens to be in that location. You want people who live in that location. Because first of all, if you're selling a higher end product, chances are people are going to not purchase it from Facebook, because where would they have it delivered to? Maybe they're just on an extended visit or something, and they might not be there on time to receive the product. So it's safer to select this, people who live in this location. Okay, there we go. All right, so it automatically here is defaulting to the US. Based on my research, there's specific areas in the US I want to go after that my data has showed is more likely to purchase this type of kids bike. So the first area, and I'm just going to show you a few, I won't show you all of it, but the first area that I discovered was a hot area for purchasing bikes is Texas. A lot of money in Texas and in some other areas in the US. So as you can tell, you just type it in and boom, it pops it up for you. So let's try another one. Florida showed to be pretty good at this as well, probably because they've got that beautiful weather all year round, and people can ride their bikes all year round. So there we go. Okay, so Florida. And another one that came up for me was California. So you could select you could select by state, or you could put in by city if you're that specific. See how the different cities pop up just to prompt you. So, or if you want to be super, super precise, it gives you the option to drop the pin as well, exactly where you want it. So you can go in very tight, or you could just go very, very broad. So that's how you would use this section. All right, the next spot, of course, is our age. So our age range, what was that again? 35, my scroll bar's glitchy today, sorry. So the age range is 35 to 54 that I want to go after. Now, if 35 to 54 is what my data showed was like the super hot range for purchasing. However, if I want to keep it even more broad to start, and then that data show me who's actually responding to the ad and who's actually making the purchases, I could, just make this a little bit more broad, right? So I'll go 30 to 54, because it's not that people who were 30 didn't make the purchase, it's just that the majority started at the age of 35. So it depends how based on research, I don't want to go too far off, but I want to put in pretty much what my research showed me, and then just kind of extend it just a little bit. And then, because I want data, my own data, to show me what's actually accurate. And we decided that, I decided through research that women were the major purchaser of this product, of this type of product, I should say. Okay, and then languages, You could add in English all. So anybody who speaks English at all, this ad would be good to show to. If your product is ethnic based, you could target different languages right in this area right here. So like if I just wanted English speaking population, then I was just typing that. Now, if I'm doing a service and I only offer it in English, I for sure will want to add in English all. Or if you have something that only has instructions and there are extensive instructions in English, you only want to do English all, because you wouldn't want to, send in people who didn't speak English who wouldn't be able to understand your instructions, right? So that's the area. Now, if you're doing just a generic product, it's probably safe to just kind of leave that blank. All right. Now here under detailed targeting, this is where you start entering your targeting. And you're going to start with entering what your research has shown, and then I also look at what Facebook suggests. So for example, cycling. So cycling, definitely I want to target people who enjoy cycling, because again, it's the parents that are going to be looking at this, but if a parent enjoys cycling, chances are that they're going to want to encourage the kids to enjoy cycling as well, because it could be something that they could enjoy and do with the kids. They can more easily show the kids how to cycle. They understand maybe the fitness behind it, whatever, multiple reasons. But chances are if a parent's interested in something, it'll be much more likely that the kids will be exposed to it and that they will want their children to get into the same type of activity. Not always, of course. I'm just saying it might be more likely than a parent who doesn't enjoy cycling. They might not think of buying a bike for the kid and showing them how to cycle. Of course, this is very generic. I'm very generalized, so don't quote me on any of that. But I'm just saying chances are, because we can't target kids, we have to target their parents. So I'm going to go after the parents who enjoy cycling. So if I click on that, you'll notice that beside it, what it shows me is the number of people that have indicated an interest in that specific topic that I just put in. So let's try something else, for example. So let's try bicycle. And as you can see, as I'm typing in these different things, everything underneath starts changing. And this is what we call Facebook suggestions. And beside each of them, again, you can see how many people with that interest have an interest in that area. So it's funny because people like bikes, but people specifically like bicycle handlebars and bicycle wheels and bicycle pedals. So I guess I better start adding some of those things in. And again, my data didn't show that I need to add those things in. I just want people in general who are interested in cycling. And then my data showed me it also includes people who are interested in things like Cycling Magazine, in specific retail stores, which is a very good thing. I'll show you in a second, but it's a very good thing to go after too. So whatever niche you're in, who are the big retail players for that, put those in too, because if people indicate an interest in cycling anywhere and going to a cycling store, chances are that they might be more open when they see your ad at looking at something to do with cycling, for example, right? So bicycle itself has got 142 million. Excellent. And the other thing you want to keep in mind is when you look at the audience side on the right, you want to make sure it's not too narrow to start anyway, unless you definitely know somebody has to be interested 100% in one certain thing. But otherwise, just keep everything very generic and very broad, and make sure that it's a good number. So I'm going to type in bicycle, and I'll show you some of what data showed me as well. Let me see, some things that came up for me were things like Bass Pro Shop, and I think it's because Bass Pro Shop, as you know, specializes in outdoor gear and usually higher end quality things, which these bikes are. They're higher end quality bikes. So you just click, and it's got a good number of people following it. So Bass Pro Shops would be a good thing to put in there as well. And same, there's something called Oakley, which again is an outdoor adventure. Maybe I should take out the word adventure, but it's an outdoor living, avid outdoor lover type store. So that, again, you can see how it relates to cycling, because people who like being outdoors usually do also enjoy cycling, because that lets them be outside and explore where they like to be. So, and look at that, 8 million people are interested in that. So we'll go with Oakley as well. And okay, let me see what else. Let me give you another example. So magazines. So again, if you think about it, so the way we want to think about it is who is likely to want to buy this product. And then I want you to take it one step further. Who is almost 100% guaranteed to buy this product? Like, what would they absolutely need to look like? So let me give you an example. I've used the example of cats a lot just because I have one and she's always in front of me, and so it's easy to think of cats. So with my cat, for example, let's say I opened a store and I sold like cat socks, for example, right? So who would be the most likely to buy cat socks? First of all, 100% sure that the person's going to have to be a cat lover. Why? Well, unless I know somebody who likes cats, so why would somebody who hates cats buy a pair of cat socks? It's just not likely. So first of all, they'd have to be a cat lover. And second of all, you'd have to know that they like to wear socks. So ideally, if we were using Facebook for this, if we found somebody who liked socks and also really like cats, then chances are they'd be the most likely to be interested in your product. So that's how that kind of works out. So same with magazines. So if you look at anything you're selling, is there a magazine that can go along with that? Like, is what you're selling like survival gear or outdoor gear? So what type of outdoorsy type magazines would go along with that? Or what type of, like if you're selling something spiritual, what type of spiritual books or magazines would go along with that a lot of people follow? Because people who are kind of interested in something, might buy it, but people who buy a magazine to go along with something, they're like super, super interested in that topic. So they are way more likely to be interested in the product that you're selling in that category. All right, so that's why magazines are very important to look at as well. So like for example, so here for the bicycling example, so bicycling magazine is one that had come up for me. The audience size 685,000 is still good. It's not as huge as I would like, but it's still good. So bicycling magazine, and then my research has showed other types of magazines. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some magazines in there as well. So as you can see, we've hit the category, we're hitting some of the category retail shops for bicycles. We're hitting in general that they need to like cycling and like bicycles. And then we're also hitting people, we're also hitting the magazines that show that they're like diehard fans of cycling, I should say. And then, you might even want to take it one step further. My research actually didn't pull it up, so I won't take it one step further, but you could always make the argument that people who like cycling also are really into fitness, and then start adding in some fitness magazines. But that's more of an assumption. Just make sure whatever you're guessing is supported somehow by your data, that your research that you've done so far. And if it is, safely put it in. And if not, if you're kind of guessing but you're not 100% sure, what you want to do is create another ad set going after the other things. So you'd keep your ad set separate. So let's say I'm guessing because again, my data didn't show that fitness was something that came along with people who purchase bikes or who are diehard cycling fans, which is surprising because they more than likely are. But so what I would do is call this ad set non-fitness, and then I would create another ad set which goes after the fitness, and I would add those into my targeting and then measure the two against each other and see which performs better. So again, put in what you know for sure, and everything else do once the data tells you what should be done. And I want to show you these beautiful options here. One's called Exclude People and one's called Narrow an Audience. Exclude People would be like if you know for sure the type of people you want to exclude. And I know that sounds very general, but let me give you an example. So I had a client who was a psychologist. And I didn't want the ad being wasted on people who were his competitors or who were in the same industry. So what I did is I used this wonderful Exclude People, and I excluded people with those precise job titles of anything related to psychology. Okay, so that's how you, for example, could use the Exclude People option. But what we're going to learn how to use now is the narrow audience. So when you're narrowing your audience, because right now everything's pretty broad, but again, I want you to think, what else would this audience need to have in order to buy my specific product? So like that example with the cat socks I gave you, you would put up here anything to do with socks and sock stores and sock magazines, if there's such a thing. And then you would narrow your audience and list people who also 100% have got to be cat lovers. So that way it's even more precise, because whatever you're building up here is telling Facebook, I just need them to have one of these interests. But whatever you're narrowing your audience by, you're saying, and it's the and part, must also have this. So with the ad I'm currently building, the kids bike is only for kids between 7 and 11. That's it. So they have got to be cycling fans and cycling magazine fans and have all those wonderful things, but they must also be parents of children who are age 7 to 11, because otherwise why would they be buying? They could be buying for a friend or whatever, but chances are if it's a really high-end expensive bike, that people are going to be buying it for their own children. Okay, so let's go ahead and narrow that audience. And I showed you what suggestions means. Browse are the general categories. So let's click on that. I'll just show you what the general categories are. So general categories are demographics, interests, which we've been talking a lot about, behaviors, like certain buying behaviors. You might want to play around with that at some point, and there's some more categories for you. But right now, again, I'm going after parents with kids with ages 7 to 11. So I'm going to click demographics, parents category. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click on all parents, and I'm going to see. So I want parents with early school age children between 6 and 8. So I want that. And I'm going to go back in. And I also want parents in that other age category. So parents with children from 8 to 12. So that'll cover the parents I want with kids between 7 and 11. So that's how I narrow that. And what happens is as you do that, you'll notice that your reach number drastically drops. Because now, remember, it was like over 1 million, and now it's dropped to 640,000. So Facebook is a lot more clear on the type of people it's going to target for me, and my ad money is not going to be wasted. Because why would I want to show it to everyone? Because as you can see, there's only a certain percentage of people who have children within that age category. All right. Connection type is Facebook is asking if you want to include or exclude anybody who is part of your connection network. So thing I choose is Facebook pages. Okay, I like to exclude, it's the last option, exclude people who like your Facebook page. Because again, why waste ad money showing an ad to people who are already following you? And maybe they're most likely to buy, but I'd be, of course, posting. What you want to do is post your ad out to people who don't know who you are, to a brand new audience. You want to, of course, post your Facebook ad out to people who are based on a lookalike audience that look like people who've purchased from you in the past. So there's different types of ads you want to put out. And of course, whichever ad you put out, you're going to also want to show your ad in your Facebook feed as well to your current followers and people who've seen you before, and just let everybody know that you've got a sale going on. And of course, your ad's going to be a little different to them because they already know you and they know what you've got. So, and they might have purchased from you before. So that ad's going to look very different as well. But it won't be an ad. It won't be an ad. It'll be a post. So I usually just take generally what the ad's about, the sale, and just put a post out and say, we have this fabulous sale on whatever, and see how people respond to it. So this section here is called placements, and what placement is where your ad is going to be placed. And Facebook will give you two options, automatic placements and edit placements. Automatic placements, if you leave that checked, it means that Facebook will show your ad where it thinks it needs to be shown. But if you've got a small budget and you don't want to spread it out, because then you're just showing it to a few people here, a few people here. You want to just kind of keep it all together. You're going to get better results. And the other thing is that if you're creating, like, for example, the first two, Facebook and Instagram, like Facebook will show your ad to Facebook followers and Instagram followers. And you might think, wow, I get, double whammy. That's wonderful. But it's really not, because Instagram is a very different type of audience. If you're going to create an ad in Instagram, which can work very effectively, I would say do an ad for that specific audience and in their specific way. So for example, when you post on Instagram, you're going to use a ton more hashtags, like a ton more. Get as many in there as you possibly can, because that's what people in Instagram want to see. Your visuals are going to have to be brighter. You might want to do more carousel type ads and just show different, that let them scroll through all the different pictures, whatever. But your Facebook ad is going to be very different from that. So keep them separate, okay? So that's why we're going to choose edit placements. So then we're going to click mobile only, because let's face it, it's a mobile world, and we want people to see it, want it, buy it, and it's just a nice quick transaction, just like that. Okay, under here, Facebook will give you all these different options based on the different platforms, as we talked about under automatic placements. And again, same reason that I had already given you, we do not want the same ad to be shown on Instagram. We do not want this ad to be shown on Messenger, because Messenger, again, would be a very different specific type of ad. We don't want the ad going out to the audience network. And within Facebook, instant articles, again, it's a very different type of thing. It'll be a very different type of ad. We don't want our ad showing on there. We want our ad basically just showing on the mobile feeds. So mobile news feeds. Excellent. Okay, under advanced options, you're going to go ahead and click on that. Under mobile devices, you're going to have this option here. This is only when connected to Wi-Fi. So go ahead and click that, because you don't want someone looking at your ad and then not being connected to Wi-Fi and not wanting to spend the Wi-Fi money to go to your landing page and scroll around your website and look at their options. So you want only when people are connected to Wi-Fi, then they're more likely to freely go through all your pages or wherever you want them to go until they get to the purchase decision, right? So let's see here. This is where you add in your budget. So again, we're going to start off at just $5 a day. There. Okay, so $5 US a day. And then here it's going to give you a selection so you can start your ad immediately. If you go ahead and pick that option, your ad's going to start as soon as it gets approved by Facebook. And that timeline will vary. I seen a pattern where the more I advertise with Facebook, the faster they approve. Sometimes I literally, as soon as I click this continue button at the bottom, like boom, it's approved. Like I don't even think anybody looks at it anymore. But sometimes if it's an ad, like I said, I did that ad for the psychologist, that I think they had to look at a little bit more carefully. So they do have real people looking at ads. And there's certain conditions and things that they look at. They have to verify you. They have to make sure you're legit. They have to look at your website to make sure you have certain things on your website. So there's a lot of things that has to be taken in place before an ad's approved. Okay, so that's why I can't tell you if you click the run my ad continues to today. I don't know how many hours it'll be before your ad actually gets approved. Okay. Or you can keep it more in your control and you can set your start and end date. So under conversions, on your conversion window, you have a 7-day conversion window option or a 1 day. The way I recommend using this is if it's going to be a very quick, easy decision. So let's say, again, the cat socks. You either like them, love them, want them, or not. It's not something that people are going to stress thinking about. Okay, so if you've got something like that, do a 1-day conversion window, because you pretty much people can make their decision within 1 day and you want your data within a day. If it's a higher ticket item, like even these kids bikes, people could want it right away, but then they need to talk to a spouse because it is quite a bit of money, and then they need to talk to their bank, maybe, like, who knows. If something like that, you might want to keep it as a 7-day. If you click on it, you'll see, and it's asking when you want your data after, a 1-day click, and it also depends how often you're going to check on your ad. So to start, when you're doing split testing, check your ad every single day. Every single day. So that's going to be after a 1-day click, or if you want to track people who click or view, of course we do, then it's just going to stay at a 1-day click or view. Okay. Bid amount, automatic or manual. Let it, if you're new to Facebook ads, keep it at automatic for now. Okay. Manual is more advanced. It's a very precise strategy on how to get it to work for you, and when you should use it and when you shouldn't, and all kinds of factors go into there. So if you're just starting out, please just keep it at automatic. But if you're running automatic ads and your ads start performing really well and you get a high performance, and it comes to a time of year where there's going to be a lot of people competing for your type of audience, like Black Friday, then quickly learn how to do manual bidding and what you should be bidding. Or again, shoot me an email or a message, and I'll help you, give you some guidelines that you should follow. Okay, so that's it. So everything else you could pretty much, like ad scheduling, just let the ads run all the time. I don't know why an ad might have to only specifically run at a certain time of day, but perhaps for your industry it does. So you could fool around with that there, and that's about it. So it's good to go. And based on all of that extra data I put in, now again, I'm still building this out, so this is going to look different, but let's say I just kept everything as it is. It's going to reach 99,000 people, which is too small of an audience to start with. I like to keep my audience reach on a brand new ad I'm running between 300,000 and 1 million, because let Facebook go out with that big number and pull in the people that are most likely to do the conversion that you selected, which in my case was purchase. So I'm going to just keep it really, it doesn't mean you're going to go after 2 million or 3 million people, because that's too broad and too big. You want to, tell Facebook pretty much through all of this what you're looking for. But I'd say just keep it between 300,000 and 1 million is a really good starting target. All right. So if that all looks good, you're going to go ahead, you're going to click continue, and what's going to happen then is it's going to bring you to the page where you can actually create the visual for your ad and add in your content. So in the next lesson, that's exactly what we're going to learn. So to recap, in this lesson, we learned all about starting a conversion campaign and how to create an ad set, naming our ad set, how to start putting in our interests, and how to go through all of the different ad set options in order to choose what will most likely produce the best results for our ad based on creating a product ad. All right, so I hope that was helpful, and I will see you in the next lesson.